Hey peeps, welcome or welcome back to another video. I'm Volt and I draw stuff. So today I'm sharing some of my art process from my sketchbook today. I'll be using my Holbein acrylic gouache set for this piece. It's a cute little sketch that I had that I just wanted to try out my acrylic gouache since I have it in a while, so this is just me getting used to it again. I'm putting down sort of this yellow underpainting just to experiment with tone. It'll be such a cool colored character that I wanted to try out sort of a warm tone background, which I'm glad I did. It came out really nice, I think. So a little bit about this piece. This is my character Dom. He's a little ice demon who is a little unusual in that he is an ice demon. So he's kind of shy. He only speaks just above whisper. He's a newer character of mine, so I haven't done too much with him yet, and I haven't gotten around to really fleshing him out as a character. But all I know is that he most likely ran from his realm and ends up falling for an angel. So, given that he's not this fiery, typical demon type character, I'm pretty sure that will work out just fine. So my favorite part of his design is actually the hair. As you can see, I'm painting it right now. I kind of gave it this, well, I designed him digitally initially, so I gave him this icy blue holographic effect that I colored in sort of this iridescent sort of way. You'll see it. I really like how it came out, especially for when I did in gouache. I'm glad how I like the choices that I made for it. But I wanted to see how I'd execute it with the paints, so yeah. His skin tone, I think, I didn't have my reference on me digitally, so I think I just decided to color his skin tone blue even though it's more purple. But it's fine, it turned out just fine, you know. I think the hardest part of getting acrylic gouache or gouache in general just right is you focus more on the shape of a subject, especially when you're going over the pencils. You can't really see it after you put on layers, and I know you can build up to this, and I should have maybe built up from a more transparent layer to a more thicker layer, but I tend to go heavy-handed with gouache. I don't know why. It's just I guess the medium, like the opaqueness of it, I get really excited about it, so I'm like, oh, I just want to put the layers on and lay them down, and that's it. But I didn't do too bad. Sometimes it's just hard to see and keeping the landmarks of the facial features correct can be tough. So I'm going in and I'm leaving the nose uncolored for now because I need a frame of reference for where the rest of his face will go, because I didn't design Dom with eyes. You will probably never see his eyes because I just didn't. He has eyes, I just never designed him with them, which I think is pretty cool. Kind of part of the mystery, you know? Like, why don't you ever see his eyes? Will you freeze if you see them? Who knows? I haven't decided. You can see I'm kind of going in on the hair now. I'm adding another layer of lighter blue to it. I'm trying to get down the effect. I'm starting to get down the effect. I add so many layers to his hair because it's fun to paint and fun to color digitally, and I was really interested in seeing how this medium behaves, especially in this sketchbook. This is a Talons sketchbook. It's one of those cheap mixed media sketchbooks that you can buy just about anywhere, and they come in a different range of sizes and colors. And at first, I didn't actually really like this sketchbook. I kind of didn't like the way that it was laying down anything, like my pencils were too smeary and all that, but I actually got used to it and I started to really like it. And I especially like how it handled the acrylic gouache here, and I really like how it handled some of the watercolor. You can't go too heavy on the water though on this paper because it's not the thickest paper in the world, but if you just lay it down in stages, you should be fine. It's fine. Of course, anything like alcohol marker is going to bleed through. Alcohol marker is going to bleed through most papers anyway, so that's just to be expected. I don't use alcohol marker too much though, so that's not really a complaint from me. I actually already got another one of these books because I'm halfway through this one, so you'll probably see a sketchbook tour pretty soon. So I'm going to talk about acrylic gouache a little bit. I have a really large set of acrylic gouache, Holbein acrylic gouache, that, like I said, I'm trying to use a little bit more, be a little bit confident with, because other than that, it's just going to sit there unused. But I really like this gouache a whole lot. I like it better than normal gouache, but I'm just going to tell you the reasons why. So number one is because of its versatility. I really like that. It's like gouache, but it's also like watercolor in that you can still go from transparent to opaque depending on what kind of effects you want. Oh, now I'm adding the pink, how exciting. You can see that sort of holographic effect coming in, I guess, that I'm trying to pull off here. Which, like I said, I really do like how it came out. I think the only thing I'm really kind of about is his ears look kind of wonky, like they look kind of out of proportion, but it's okay, it's fine. It's just in my sketchbook, so I'm not really too fussy over it. Overall, the piece I'm really happy with. But yeah, the other thing I like is that acrylic gouache dries matte, whereas normal acrylics can dry slightly glossy if you apply it thick or you apply enough layers. It'll have sort of that semi-glossy finish, which, you know, I think looks better on canvas than it does on paper. So acrylic gouache really lends itself a lot better to paper, much like a regular gouache would. I like that acrylic gouache doesn't crack though. It's less likely to crack than regular gouache because it's acrylic, it's plastic, right? So it's more, I feel like it dries a little bit more evenly. And when it dries, it tends to keep the same color because some gouaches, when you lay them down wet, when you look back and they're dry, they're like a shade darker or a shade lighter, so you have to be like, you have to keep in mind what paints do what and how they behave. And I know like some lesser quality gouaches also are more likely to do that because they have more of that chalky finish, so it's more filler than pigment. But with higher quality, higher grade gouache, you don't really have to worry about that. And with this Holbein acrylic gouache, I know that it's high quality, but on top of that, it's an acrylic gouache, so I feel like the color is a little bit more reliable, as like wet as it is dry. So I really like that, and I don't like surprises like that. Even with watercolor, sometimes you get that, but not as often. So yeah. You know, it's also more like an acrylic to me than it is a like gouache, a proper gouache, in that when you build up, you can build up its opacity, just like acrylic, you know. And you'll, like with watercolor, you're always going to see the underpainting. For the most part, depends on what colors you're doing, or you're always going to see the sketch underneath, which I don't have a problem with that look, but sometimes I really need those pencils to be gone. And with this, it's kind of tricky to get the shapes down, and because as you build up on your as you build up on your painting, the undersketch starts to go away, and I get a little nervous. There's like this awkward middle phase of painting that I always call it, because you're like, oh man, this doesn't look how I sketched it, or not looking how I wanted it. But no, you have to persevere, you have to push through, because if you leave it, then you're just going to be unhappy and you'll never finish it. You have to keep going, because I promise you it'll turn out fine. I'm getting the poppies in now. I really enjoyed this pop of red in the picture. It really balances it out after all that blue that I just laid down, and I'm really even happier now that I did a yellow underpainting, because now it feels a little bit more harmonious in color. It feels like there's like a balance, and it's not just all blue or too yellow or too anything of that nature. Although I did paint kind of like this softer outline on the edges of his hair and his horns, the yellow, so that it kind of looks like he's, I guess, got a kind of a rim light. And oh, now I'm going in with his shirt. Okay, that's the stage we're at already. We're almost done with this painting. Cool. I think the thing I like especially with acrylic gouache is that once the paint dries, you can layer it on, and the pigment won't reactivate. It won't pick back up like a normal gouache or even some watercolors. I really, really like that, because sometimes you make a mistake and you have to go back in, and you have to, and you risk lifting up some of the color or blending it into what you don't want. Then again, that is probably a skill issue. It's probably just a thing I have to work on, not worrying about so much. But I do like the permanence of acrylic gouache, actually, because it lays down flat, it lays down smooth. I don't have to worry about it like being too fugitive, I guess. And lastly, I kind of paint in this shawl thing he's wearing. I don't know what he's wearing exactly, but I kind of like the effect I gave it. Oh yeah, his little hair like ponytail tendril thing. I forgot that he had that. Oh man, this is quite the character design that I made. But yeah, there's like this slight translucency on the little shawl thing that he's wearing, and this is kind of just where the sketch stops, so that's just kind of where I end it. But I do like the effect that I give it a little later on. You'll see it's kind of like this silken type translucent piece of fabric that he's wearing. He comes off as kind of a bit of a romantic now, doesn't he? I think the thing that I really want to play with too, with these acrylic gouache, is more brushstroke textures. I really do want to experiment with that a whole lot more, because there's just so much I have to learn about this medium, and I really want to start experimenting. Like, just much like this painting, I really went in and experimented with a lot. So, and I had a whole lot of fun making this just for fun, you know? Like, I just happened to record it, and you guys get to see it. Ooh, more purple in the hair. Goody. The more I practice my lines, the more I appreciate painting the line work with paint and a paintbrush rather than just a stark pen of some kind or ink of some kind. Let me know in the comments if you prefer speed paints like these, or do you prefer me to just slow down and let you guys actually see the process of me painting, because sometimes I feel like the videos that I make can be a little too long, and maybe like I'm fine with it being like a background noise or whatever, but if you guys are actually watching, do you guys prefer to see the thing painted in real time or drawn in real time, or do you not mind, and you're just listening? In either way, let me know in the comments below. And so that is Dom and acrylic gouache. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.